What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Orgs Podcast. My name is Anthony Silva, and I'm your host here. And today we have a guest, but this is not going to be an interview necessarily. This is going to be a reaping ceremony. If you don't know what that is, you are going to know what it is right now. If you've ever seen the Hunger Games, we have what we call the FAMISH Games. And this is actually the second edition of this, the FAMISH Games XL. And we're going to have a reaping ceremony today with the man himself, Michael O'Rear. What's up, Michael?
What's up, Anthony? Listen, I gotta say, I'm so excited to do this. This is like I felt like I had this idea, and you were totally on board for it, and I appreciate you for that. But also, like, we got to get to my interview one day, okay? So,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
really
for
from
sure.
that. We gotta get there.
For sure, for sure. But I do appreciate you bringing this opportunity. First of all the games you do are amazing, so I love all of them. But on top of that, you're doing this. You do games where you bring in a lot of people. So, Famish Games it was great. The first one, it had a lot of twists to it. It matched like what the Hunger Games brings. But this one, you're trying to bring in a lot of people, and that's a tough thing to do. But obviously, you've done games before that have a lot of players, so I think a lot of people out there trust and believe in what you got going on. So I'm really excited to do this today, and yeah, let's get this going.
Yeah, so I want to set up a little bit just to give, like, I know we actually have a lot of new players in the mix, which I'm super excited for. I always want the opportunity to cast new players, the people who've never been in Reality Miniverse. So a lot of them don't really know what to expect, and they just kind of messaged me saying, "Put me in the ring," and I was like, "All right, here we go." And I know, like, since then they've had a lot of questions. They're like, "Well, what are we actually doing here?" So I will break it down a little bit. This is
Okay.
kind of actually a hybrid, if anything. I feel like it's a cross between the Famish games, which I did before, which was a game based on the Hunger Games, and also a game that I did called Tentacle Games, which was based on Squid Game. So the difference is, like, this one has a very big cast, much like Squid Game. Not as big as the Tentacle game I hosted. We did 64 then. This one's going to have 48. So that's the big difference. But people who aren't familiar with what my minis are like, basically the rundown is we're going to throw you in a Zoom. It's going to be 3 hours long. And you're gonna vote people out. It's typically really social. They're very social heavy games. Not a whole lot of competitions, and a big component to Tentacle Games. And one thing I'm gonna bring into this, which we didn't see a whole lot of in Famish Games 1, but there's going to be an element of luck to this, right? Just like in the actual movies, you might run into a situation or an element in the arena that just completely f's you up, and it's not your fault, but you're dying anyways. And I kind of want to capture that feeling in a game. As best as I can in a 3 hour format on Zoom, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. Well, you've done a very good job in the past, especially with like Tentacle Game. I played both of the ones you had, and the elements that came from that game or that series definitely was felt in the game. So, and especially with the last Famish Games, it's always some crazy twist. And
Oh, yo, people got,
yeah.
just side note, people were
Hmm.
mad at the last twist that I did.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I was mad.
that's fair. That's
No,
fair.
but
I get it. And I'll
no,
say,
but
I'll say, prepare yourself for crazy twists, because now Famish Games is known for that. I will say I have learned a lot from the things I did in the past. I'm going to correct some mistakes, but nonetheless, things are going to get effed up, and prepare yourself for that.
for sure, for sure. Well, I will tell everybody out there, I'm in the running in the lottery. I might not make it. I might. Either way, it's gonna go down. And if I don't make it, I'm gonna watch for sure. If I do make it, who knows what's gonna happen? But for sure, this is just. First of all, this is also a new concept that not many. I don't know. I don't want to say somebody hasn't done this before or anything like that because we don't know. But the fact that you're doing this now and in this time is just it's just crazy, and I think everybody's gonna like it and enjoy it. So I know there's a lot of people already in the lottery. There's only going to be, what, 48 picked. So there will be some people that are left out, but that's the name of the game, exactly what a reaping ceremony is. So,
Now, I do want to say just real quick before, because I am ready to just randomize this thing and get going, but I do want to say, so we have 64 applicants. We're picking 48. It's going to be done on random.org, so it's completely random here. But I do want to mention the 12 people that do not get picked, in the order that they come up on the randomizer, will be alternates for anybody that drops out. And again, if you're unfamiliar with my games, if you're unfamiliar with minis, I always need alternates. So,
oh yeah,
just because you're an alternate at this point, don't count yourself out. There's still a big opportunity for you to play. So,
absolutely. I mean, you throw games with like 16 to 20 people, and 4 or 5 people drop out. So I can imagine maybe with 48, there's gonna at least be a couple dropouts for sure. So yes, do be on standby for sure. So, all right, how do you want to get this
Are
going?
you ready? Let's do it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so I am putting the list in the random.org now, and I'm hitting randomize. Okay, and that your fate has all just been determined by that.
Oh, here we go.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go district by district. I'm gonna give you 4 names. We might comment about it briefly,
For sure.
but I'll just tell you what the districts are based on that. So are you ready for District 1?
All right, here we go. District 1.
All right, so we got Charles Berger. Okay, I'm just going to say this up front. Like I said, there's a lot of new people here, people I don't really know. If I mispronounce your name, I'm deeply sorry. Just come and correct me, and I'll get it better when we're like on the live. But I did like put everyone's last names in there. Some of them are a little weird, but I'm gonna do my best. Okay, and
No, you're great. You're great.
Okay.
There's so many names out there. Like, come on now, you got this. All right.
All right. So
Wait, you said Charles?
Charles Bergeron,
All
I
right.
believe. The new player to my game. I'm not super familiar with Charles, but happy to have Charles
Same.
here.
Same. Hey, I love new
one.
players.
I'll go ahead and read the
Congrats.
next 3. We got Beth Burns, Christopher Lehner, and Donald Buda. So
Oh,
yeah, that's kind of a mix there. We got some new player. I would say it's about half and half. Some new players there. Some people who have played my games before. So
yeah, Donald. I've seen Donald. Donald's a cool guy.
Donald has not played my games before, but I do know Donald personally. So super excited we could finally get him in. So okay, let's go on to District 2. District 2 is going to be Nash Crutched, Kenny
All right.
Orgs, Chris
Uh-oh.
Marcel, and
Ooh.
Blake Deadly.
Okay.
What do you think about that group?
Nice. Okay, we got some players. We got some players in this game already. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, everybody who's named already. Again, I like new players. I really like new players or players that I haven't played with before. Because again, one, I like these games because you build relationships. 2, because they come in with no ties. But other people, yeah, I mean, I've already seen a bunch of names already. This is already gonna be fun. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so just to recap,
So many
District 2 is
districts.
Kenny, Chris, Blake, and we're going to District 3. This might be an interesting one. I feel like you met one of these people tonight. We have Gibble, Danny Pate, Nick Marin, and Kyle Gates. So another one. Again,
All right.
a crop of new players there and some that have played before. So
Yeah, well, let's see if he wears a Spider-Man outfit.
that is Gibble. Yeah. We'll see about that. He had some outfits in what we saw earlier. Okay, so just to recap, 3 was Gibble, Danny, Nick, and Kyle, and we'll go on to District 4, which is Ian Morrison, Grace Orgs, Mark Maldonado, and JB Schaefer. And I got to shout out my buddy Ian Morrison, who is a real-life friend of mine, is not a reality TV fan, but he kind of knows what I do, and he threw himself in there. So Ian got picked, and good luck to you, my friend.
Yes. Congrats. I'm glad to have new people. Like I said, hey, there's a lot of names already that, I mean, we're 4, 8, 12, 16 names in, and I've probably heard like half of them. So that's great.
Yep. Yeah. Still no Anthony, but we'll get there. All right.
Yeah, all good.
All right. Just to recap, 4 is Ian, Grace, Mark, and JB. We're gonna go on to 5 now, which is Jennifer Stein, Mac, Stove, and Curtis Robert. Definitely some
Okay.
familiar faces to the Orc community,
Sure.
I think there. Curtis Roberts never played Reality Miniverse, not super familiar with him, but yeah, super excited to see all of them in here. All right, just to recap on that one, 5 is Jennifer, Mac, Stove, and Curtis.
Yes. Good squad right there. Nice.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have like a
Okay.
preference on what district you get? Just by the way, now we're going up to District 6. Do you like care? Is there like a number that feels good to you?
Not really. Not
Yeah,
really. I mean, at this point, you just hope to get picked.
yeah.
And then if
Okay.
you don't, I mean, I don't think the district matters. I mean, if anything, maybe the players that you're with matters most because you never know how this game's gonna go. You're starting off with 4 people on your squad already. It could be. I mean, you could, for all we know, you could say, "Hey, everybody has to vote out one person right now," or some shit like that. So it could be. You just never know. So I don't know if the districts matter as much as
The people you're with.
in my own thoughts.
Well, how about
I
this?
don't think they matter as much as who you're with.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut the suspense. We're going to District 6 here. The first
Okay.
name on there is Anthony Silva. So
No
congratulations on making
way.
District 6. The people joining you are going to be Danny Jackson, Keyshawn Taylor, and Tessa Yelverton. I love this group. Just to throw that out.
Okay.
I think you got a good squad here. So
Yes, Tessa. Okay, I want to see that. I want to see Tessa. I haven't met Tessa before. I don't think.
yeah, Tessa played Tentacle Games actually. Out
You
probably a little
know,
earlier than she wanted to, but
there's so many people I talk to. They're like, I played Tentacle game, but there was
yeah.
64 of us, and a lot of people go out in the first and second rounds. You don't even get to talk to them.
You know
So,
what's crazy? I hosted a game called New Era. It was people that have never played Reality Miniverse before. So I took applicants all over. I casted somebody that was in Tentacle Games, and I didn't remember that they were in there. So, yeah. All
all
right. So
right,
just to recap there, your district, District 6, is Anthony, Danny, Keyshawn, and Tessa.
nice.
Let's move
Okay,
on to District 7. We have Angela Rose, Shaggy, Michael Fleshman, and Snyder. So again, some
okay.
newcomers and some people coming back to play again. So this is another
Snyder.
interesting group.
Snyder's back.
Snyder,
All right.
Snyder's back, baby. You know, Snyder always comes in with the most enthusiasm that you'll ever see.
He
So
does.
excited to have him
Yes.
back. Okay, just to recap: 7 is Angela, Shaggy, Michael, and Snyder. Let's go to District
Love
8.
Angela. Love Angela.
Yeah, Angela's great too. District 8 is Taylor Jansen, Cody Dion, Billy Stevens, and Debbie Goldberg.
All right, Billy.
Yeah, I actually really like how these districts are working out because again, it's gonna be it's kind of split down the middle. Some people have played my games before, and some people who haven't. So that was the 8th district. Just to recap: Taylor, Cody, Billy, and Debbie. I just want to stop down here and say real quick. I should have said this at the top. The way we're going to be doing the pregame is you're going to be added into a group chat with your district. Those are the people you're allowed to talk to. I guess you can quote unquote pregame with those people. The
Nice.
preference is that you don't pregame outside your district. So, again, you got 3 buddies that you can play with. You don't need to go out and talk to everyone else too.
No, for sure. For sure. I get that. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a good idea anyways, too, because then they could. Yeah, I don't want to talk about
They
strategy,
get
but anyways,
backfire.
yeah,
Yeah, they get
yeah,
backfire. So be
yeah.
careful out there, guys. All right, let's go to District 9. We have Josh Dunas, Johnny Ventura,
Oh,
Morgan Collins, and Alex Trinred. Again,
all
these are
right,
there's 2
nice.
people that have played before and 2 people who haven't. So that's
Yeah,
kind of how this is
again,
going.
what a mix of teams for real.
All right, just to recap: Josh, Johnny, Morgan, Alex are District 9. So let's move on to District 10. We have Caleb Walton, Dan Bragg, Tammy Sullivan, and Courtney Davis.
Nice. What
I
was the second name you
believe
said?
You know, I typed Dan Bragg because I couldn't remember how to spell his full last name. It's Dan Bragg something.
It's okay.
He's
It's
gonna
all
kill
right.
me. I'm like, yeah, I consider him a friend. I'm sorry, Dan. Don't come after me.
No,
I said
again,
I'm not
some
good
of
with the
these
names.
names are wild style. It's okay.
To be honest, I think this is an entire newbie group here. I don't think any of these people have played Reality Miniverse before. So,
I'm liking these squads. There's so many.
yeah.
It's not that there's so many names. I don't want to say there's so many names I haven't heard of, but there's just a lot of names that I haven't like seen. I always see a lot of the same names, which is It's not a bad thing, but right now with the way these are coming out, it's looking like a fun game for sure.
Yeah, and it's a mix of people that like aren't familiar with orgs, or maybe they only played Discord orgs before and they're just coming over to like Facebook orgs, quote unquote, or it's
Yeah.
people that have been in Facebook orgs forever and they just haven't gotten to my games. So that's kind of how it goes, I guess.
That's cool too, man. Again, I've been talking to a lot of people who played all these different games across all the different platforms, and now I guess more than ever they're kind of like cross-platforming, and it's cool to see that or to be around when that's happening because,
And you know what? I
uh,
think this podcast is a great way to bridge the platforms, in my because you are
for
interviewing
sure,
different types of people, and like there might be a Facebook org where they're like, oh, I didn't even know there were games on Discord. Maybe I need to go check those out. So I think you kind
yes,
of do a service in that respect.
for sure, and I definitely have talked to people from other platforms that I'll be talking to. So, yeah. So what are we at? 10? We just did 10, right?
That was 10. Just to recap, 10 is Caleb, Dan, Tammy, and Courtney. Let's move on to 11. 11 is Deshaun Payne, Lon Newhams, Antonio Ampi, and Sky Pina.
Okay.
I think this is another
Sky,
split
what's up,
one.
Sky? So, dang, that's again 3 or 4 names there, or 2 or 3 names that I don't know of. I like this though. I like this again. I think even if you haven't played these games before and you come in, you do a very good job of kind of explaining and having a format where they can kind of understand it if you've never played games before. Because there's a lot of games that I play. If you've never played them before, even if you've played other game orgs before, there's some games out there where you go into them and if you don't like understand it, like you're gonna be lost. So, I think you do good on your format. So with a lot of new players like this, and I'm saying this not knowing if they're coming from like Twitter or somewhere else, they might be 10 years deep,
Right.
but again, it's just cool to see all these names. So,
Yeah, and I
all right,
just want to say again, probably something I should have said at the top. A good way, if you are new to these games, you kind of want to get a feel of what they're like. There's two ways you can go about watching it. I would recommend going to our YouTube channel, which is Reality Miniverse on YouTube.
yeah,
I believe the only full game we have on there is our Winners at War game, but I think it's our best game. It's an incredible cast. And if you win this one, you could end up in a game just like that. And also, you can go to our Twitch channel. The Twitch channel only goes back 30 days. So after that, it starts deleting the live streams. If you want to see some of the recent ones, you can definitely go to the Twitch, which is at the Mike Loreer, which is my name. So
they
if you
really
kinda just
do.
wanna
I
get a
didn't know
feel of
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
Twitch
know
is a
they
little
erased
weird.
them.
Well, there is a way to save them, but it's kind of convoluted and complicated, and I don't usually
Yeah,
bother. But I'd like to get to the point where I save them more. We'll see.
for
I think
sure.
if this one is as epic as I think it's going to be, which, by the way, before we got 4 more people, District 12, so I'm sorry for stalling, but I do want to say this is already the like pre-production for this. This is the most I have ever put into a game when it comes to graphics, when it comes to casting, when it comes to sounds. I got to shout out my production team a little bit. Chase and Hannah are going to be helping me behind the scenes. They're
Nice.
really great. Hannah is like a whiz when it comes to like Google Sheets and Google Forms and all that stuff. And then Andrew, who's Hannah's boyfriend, Andrew's making sound effects for the game. So they're going to be like in-game events that have sound effects, and we'll explain that
Nice.
when the game starts a little bit more. But it's really cool. So just to be honest, I think this is like our highest production value game. Thus far.
Yeah, and I gotta say that too. Like a lot of people don't understand the production value of some of these things. Like I don't want to put down orgs that don't have the necessities to have a higher production, or have a team, or just the mindset for it. One thing that I've noticed is that the production, the better it is, the better everything turns out. And I just think you do a great job with that. So like again, like you even just being excited about knowing that you have these people helping you and stuff. I'm already excited for it. So
Yeah, it's gonna be
yeah,
great. So.
for
Let's
sure.
recap
All right,
11
here we
real
go.
quick again. It's Deshaun, Lan, Antonio, and Sky. We're going to move on to 12. This is the final group. Just want to say again, if you fall into that alternate spot, there's a good chance we're going to need you, so don't just like block me on Facebook or whatever.
Before we pick the last four, I gotta ask you this. So when we're done with the last four, are we gonna do like another four that'll be the alternates or something like that? Or you?
I'm just gonna read the order of the rest of the names. So there's gonna be 12 extra names, and the
Okay.
order that those names come in are gonna be the ones that will be the alternates. So let's say
Okay.
person one on that list, that will be the first person I contact if somebody drops out,
Got
so
you
on and
for
so
sure.
forth.
Works out. Okay.
Okay, so District 12, here we go. Last ones. It is Colleen Moose,
Ooh.
AJ Murphy, Devontae Randolph, and Caleb Jensen. That is our District
Oh,
12.
Caleb.
Caleb, yes.
Caleb made it. All right.
Last spot, Caleb. Good job.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So 48 spots have been filled, 12 districts, um, lots of newcomers, lots of vets in the game as well. Yeah, man, this is gonna look crazy. This is already crazy. So just to have 48 players solid, or to have 64 sign up is an accomplishment. But to have 48 solid and then some people in the waiting, that's gonna be good.
And honestly, I'm looking at this alternate list, and I feel so bad for all of you. Like, I want you all to play, you know? It's like, a lot of people are messaging me, like, rig it for me, and it's like, I did really try to keep the integrity of this. Some of you guys are, like, good friends of mine. Some of you guys have played my games a lot, and you're not gonna, you're in the alternate spot at this point. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna play.
Well, I would tell you this: if like, I'm right here with you, doing this, and if I were to not to have got picked, like, I would have been okay with it. There wouldn't have been like, this is the point of a reaping ceremony. Like,
Right.
some people get picked, some people don't, and in real life, you would have hoped not to get picked anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's the funny thing. Everyone's hoping for this, and I'm like, that's the opposite.
so you're lucky now, but again, the mixture of names, yeah, I like the setup already. So, and I played your first one, and I made it maybe like halfway. So as far as I made it, everything that was done, I thought it was great. The games were good. The concept was great. Even just like you said, all the graphics and everything that came along with it. So I'm excited for this one. Glad I made this one. And
Let's go
yeah,
represent District 6. I see where the podcast
District
is leading.
6.
Let me go ahead and read those alternates out just so you guys know, full transparency. This is the people, again, if somebody drops out, I'm gonna reach out to the person first on this list and then move on down the line as we go. So the list is in order: CT Orgs, Stoner,
Okay.
LaFave, Luna Steel, Marina Orgs, Alex Mundy, Bliss Ormsby, Zachary Schmidt, John Friedis, Arden Wingate, and Erica Kelly. So that does not mean you're not playing. It just means we can't confirm it yet. I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Got you. Got you. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it probably like 3 to 5 of those for sure, because stuff happens. People drop out for all kinds of reasons. Some of them. So yeah, I mean, yeah, all of y'all be on standby. But yeah, a lot of those names, yeah, they're definitely like people that I've seen play other games and would be great. So, but again, this is the point of the reaping ceremony, and just for you to bring this idea to life and for us to have it this way, that's already a start to something that could be, greater in the future. So, and again, concepts are, I think, what's gonna keep this alive. These orgs and stuff. Traditional games are great. I love them. I like to those. That's exactly what I like to play, is more traditional style. But definitely the future is gonna be these new concepts, or taking old concepts and adding twists to them and things like that. So, good job
Can I talk
on.
about one twist really quick, just to give people a little
Yes,
bit of a
please,
teaser?
for
So
sure.
one thing that I really liked about the Hunger Games books and movies is like the original creatures that live in the world, right? There's the Tracker Jackers.
Yep.
That's the only one I can think of, to be honest. But there's other ones. But I came up with my own original creatures, and those creatures are going to have a heavy impact on the game. And I want to talk about one really quickly. It's called the Peagle. The Peagle is a hybrid between a pig and an eagle. And basically, the Peagle is going to make a sound. And when you hear that sound, the first person to message me is going to gain either a very big advantage or a very big disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
So
Oof.
maybe you're the type of player that's like, I don't want the smoke, I don't want to risk it, I'm not messaging. Maybe you're the one that really wants to risk it. You want the high risk, high reward. You're gonna shoot that message to me when you hear that Peagle sound, and we'll go over that at the start of the game. But I wanted to tease that because that's one that like we have a cool sound effect for, we have a cool graphic for. It's gonna be a big part of the game.
So is the stadium setting gonna kind of be the same, or do you have a new concept for that?
Okay, that's a good question. Technically, it's very similar. Where
Okay,
there are, I thought about posting. I might post the map tomorrow just to let everyone see. But we have a map. There are
that would be
four
cool.
islands around the cornucopia. So the cornucopia, if you know, that's like the high
Yes.
where you go get all your stuff. It's again more high risk, high reward. But there's also four islands. If you don't want to go to the cornucopia, you can spread out. You can pick what area you want to go to, and that's going to determine who you interact with in the game based on how other people picked. Um, so,
Nice.
yeah, and then what happens from there is a surprise. So
How long is this game gonna last? Do you think?
that's a good question. It is one of our bigger games, but my goal is
Sure.
always to keep it at 3 hours. There have been some instances where we go 3.5, maybe even get close to 4, but almost never go over 4. So that is by no means what we're expecting. I would expect a good 3 hour game. And here's the bad thing. That means I did the math earlier. That means somebody is going to get eliminated every 3 minutes. That's how quick this game goes. Somebody's
Yeah.
going to play this game for 3 minutes, get off, go home, maybe watch the rest or go get McDonald's. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to go very quick. So that's kind of what
I'm
you get with
sure.
Reality Miniverse.
I'm sure people will watch, and I'll actually give them some advice. Like, if you play these games and you get out, don't leave. Like, watch, because so much cool stuff happens. And when I first started playing these games, I would leave and not watch the rest of it sometimes, and this and that. But more of recent, I started watching a lot of games, and like I almost like watching them more than playing them. So I definitely suggest to everybody, even if you're not playing the game, to support, because this game is definitely going to be dope. But other games as well. Again,
Yeah,
to build
just
this community, you got
one
to
more
have the
thing,
support. Yep,
because this is kind of, you made a really good point. I appreciate you saying that because it's actually something that's really important to me. And hopefully when we get an interview at some point, I can talk about this in like more detail. But like
for
that is
sure.
kind of my mission statement. This is a game. This is an experience for the 48 people playing. But my goal is also to create a viewing experience. I want
Yes.
people that, some people are too intimidated to come play the game and they just want to watch, or maybe they are sick and they don't want to get on a Zoom, but they just want to
Hmm.
watch. And I put a lot of effort in what it's like to watch these games as well. And that's something that's really important to me. I want to build that community. I want to create a TV show, right? Like,
Yeah.
Survivor will affect 18 people every 6 months, but it'll affect millions of people that are watching it all the time. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm aiming to do. So I appreciate you putting that out there. And it's something really important to me.
Yeah, for sure. I can't tell you how many games where like I'm playing and then the person's leaving. They're like, my grandma's watching or something like that. They're like, my mom's watching. I'm like, for real? Like, so like they do have. There are friends. There are family that watch these things. There are fans. There are players that don't play anymore that still watch. Or there's players like you said. They just watch here and there. Or they like so. Yeah, I can't wait till next week. So in the meantime, just maybe look like what are you gonna be doing in the next week? Just keep promoting what you got. Are you gonna you
Yeah.
like you say
So
you might let out a map and things like
yeah,
that? So
that's a good point. Yeah, I would want to promote some stuff and put some stuff out there. I don't know exactly what, but we'll see.
all right, so man, I can't believe this is gonna happen. It's gonna be great. There'll be a lot of info dropping during the week, so make sure you go to Org Center. Make sure you go to a Reality Miniverse. These are Facebook group chats. So at Reality Miniverse at Org Center, you'll see all the info there. Not only that, you'll probably see it on my own personal page, Anthony Orgs, or at Michael's. So again, we'll be blasting this stuff all week. And make sure you listen to this. If you know somebody that hasn't listened to this and they're in the game, have them listen to this because their name is on this list. And there are people waiting in line. So if you're one of the people, if you're one of the 48 that made it into these districts, make sure you make contact with us. Make sure you make contact with Michael. because if not, your spot will be taken. But again, can't wait for this to happen. Michael, any last words?
No, I'm super excited again. This is like the most effort I've ever put into a mini. I think this is. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but like this is going to be a really incredible experience, and I'm excited to experience it with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. So, I'm definitely gonna. Hey, for everybody listening, I'm definitely gonna bring Michael back. We're gonna have an interview just about life in general, about all these org games, about everything. So, yeah, glad to have you on. I appreciate you bringing your reaping ceremony right here to the Orgs podcast, and can't wait to play this game next week. So we'll see what happens. So make sure y'all tune in. The links will be dropping everywhere. And Michael, appreciate you coming on one more time.
Appreciate you, Anthony.
All right, everyone. May the odds be ever in your favor. Talk to y'all soon. Let's go.